Bait and switch. The old school bait and switch sales tactic, right? Vincent Kennedy McMahon has done this so many times over the years. WWF, WWE. Hunter Hearst Helmsley has picked up right where the old man left off. Bait and switch. Sell you on a bag of goods. Present you with something totally different at the time of sale. WWE this whole week, Hunter Hearst Helmsley's big grab for the red brand was a former world champion mystery opponent for Dominik Mysterio on a card that was pretty weak. A multi-tag team schmaz match to once again find out who the number one contenders are. Ivy and Zelina, matchups like that. Sheamus and Ludwig for the 86th time. So what's really grabbing you, right? If you're thinking about going to the show live, but you're on the fence, maybe you don't have the cash for it, you already maxed out the credit cards, but you really want to go. The card isn't that strong. What's this? Former world champion mystery opponent. That could be fun, man. That could be a big moment. I kind of want to be there. And boom, you can get some extra ticket sales. You're going against stiff competition. Not only my stupid Yankees, which again, I apologize to anybody that is not a Yankees and a Dodgers fan. I apologize for the crappy World Series you are getting, because my Yankees did not show up to the World Series. They showed up for one of those sleep studies. You know, you get paid like a $50 stipend and they do a bunch of sleep tests on you. Because that's what they showed up for. Nobody showed up to play a game of baseball. They're already making their reservations on Priceline.com for their next vacation. All apologies. This World Series is sad. It is pathetic. It is embarrassing. This Yankees version is what we were hoping was not going to show up. There was the team that was the best in the league, and then the second half of the season, the Yankees were the worst team in the league. And that's who you're getting right now. Pathetic. But that's what Monday Night Raw was up against. Not to mention a big New York Giant Pittsburgh Steeler Monday Night Football game. There's so many things going on. So Hunter just decided to do a bait and switch. A mystery former world champion opponent for Dominik Mysterio. Cool, right? Tony Khan used to do the old, maybe he still does it. I have a major announcement, right? A major award. Christmas story. Fragile. And it's the big giant leg lamp. The leg lamp is actually funny, right? That's entertaining. What ended up being the former mystery world champion opponent for Dominik Mysterio, there's nothing funny about it. There's nothing entertaining about it. There's nothing creatively genius behind this. You guys are not going to believe, if you didn't watch the show, you're not going to believe who the former world champion mystery opponent was for Dominik Mysterio last night. You try to sell, you do a little bit of a bait and switch, but you cannot do what they did last night. I forgot the dude was on the roster. Sadly, that's how much they dropped the ball with this dude. And he's the big former world champion mystery opponent. We'll go over it. Perhaps even more worse than who it was how the match ended. You're not going to believe how this former world champion mystery opponent lost this match. And then the massive botch after the match from Hunter Hearst Helmsley in production. We'll talk all about it in this review, Monday Night Raw 10/28/24. Because that's all I'm going to give you right now. This is a teaser for a reason. I'm going to tease you with this, and then we're going to rip it apart. Now, for the positivity police out there, basically, it's got to be more positive. Well, here's some positivity for you. I liked Wreck-It Ralph last night. Bronson Reed, right? I said it last week, and I'll say it continuously because I stand behind the words. They just substituted Braun Strowman with Sethington Rollins. That's all they did. But you still have Wreck-It Ralph as the nucleus of all of this, and that's Bronson Reed. His character, I can't help but look at Bronson and not look at or think of Wreck-It Ralph, right? Just smash things in the parking lot. And listen, when you have 2 hours, just like you had 3 hours of a mundane mid-AF show, I will absolutely take destruction in the parking lot. So at this point, Bronson Reed might be the best part of Monday Night Raw, and I can't believe I'm saying that, because that's not what we should be saying. But if you're just going to wreck things in the parking lot, that's probably going to be the best part of the show. And again, it was. There was one other thing I really liked last night. And, the Wreck-It Ralph Bronson Reed thing, that might be the obvious. What I also liked last night is not so obvious. It's very simplistic. If you blinked, you may have missed it. If you went to get a coffee, you probably missed it. If you went outside real quick to pick up a bad habit, or if Monday Night Raw had you throwing yourself in the middle of traffic, I don't blame you. But if you missed it, BC's going to tell you one individual did something so simplistic, but it reminded you he should be a top star right now. So we'll go over that as well for the positivity police that want more positive of a review. All I ask for is the show to distribute enough positive things to talk about, and then we, honest reviewers, can do such. Until that happens, this is what we're stuck with. Bait and switch. You guys are not going to believe this. It's time to talk about it. Whether we like it or not, it's the Raw Review 10/28/24. I'm going to get a massive swig of coffee, take you guys to the opening signature, and then you come all right back. With this Raw 10/28/24 review, a big shout out to one of my first members on this channel, JR9 Gaming. For the last several months, he has been extensively and incredibly covering NXT in his weekly roundups. Yesterday, in yesterday's upload, in the comments, the Halloween Havoc edition from JR9. And unfortunately, that is the last one from JR9 Gaming. NXT Halloween Havoc has officially broken JR9 Gaming. He has taken a break from NXT. The booking is just too bad. If you guys are interested in that read, it is a great read, JR9. I nearly agreed with every single point made, and I think when I went over my little thoughts on it, because it wasn't an extensive review, but I gave you my thoughts on NXT Halloween Havoc, everything I did see, which was the majority of the show. And I mean, we were pretty much in lockstep for a lot of that. I'm still trying to comprehend the Kalani Jordan title loss. I totally get, we all see what's going on, especially with Zarya at the end of that match taking out the heels. You don't want Zarya taking out Kalani. I don't want Kalani dropping the title, period. It's not time. I mean, she's making something special out of this title that is still brand new, let's be honest. But there was so many things, man, and I know JC taking that same thing as a roll-up. It's a hold 'em down, and JC's done in less than 5 minutes. I know that's your gal, too. So JR9 is no longer doing these NXT roundups. He's going to take a break from NXT. Much love and respect to one of the first to smash the membership on this channel. And one of my tried and true subscribers way before that, JR9 Gaming. We are all supporting this decision, man. As much as we're going to miss those roundups. Salute, man. And thanks for ending it with a bang anyway. That was a really good roundup, as always. Halloween Havoc, yesterday's upload in the comments. Check it out, man. The last ever weekly roundup for NXT from JR9 Gaming. And one other point of business before we get into the Raw review, starting with Jimmy and Jey Uso. My Yankees, I'm just going to address this now. You guys see, I'm still sporting, man. Even though tonight we're pretty much out of it. Which we should actually win this game because it is a bullpen game for the Dodgers. They don't have a starting pitcher tonight. They're just going to put in a bunch of relievers throughout the whole 9 innings. You think we would win this. We should. Which means even if we do, there's nothing to celebrate. But knowing us, we'll probably lose. But I'm sporting. No fair weather bandwagon fan here, man. BC is tried and true with the blue, with the Yankees, and this interlocking NY. It means something, man. And we stick with them even through the really bad like this in the World Series when they all collectively just choke. We're not just going to start burning the merch. It's not happening. So we're going to continue the support. BC will be in the Bronx tonight, and if we're going to go If we're going to go down, hopefully it's swinging, right? And I'll be in the Bronx, and even in defeat, I will be checking out my boys one last time in the Bronx, New York tonight, Game 4. It could be a sweep. The Yankees could be out of it tonight. So that's it. In the only words I can use to describe the Yankees in the World Series this year. The words I would use: Yankees World Series. They fucking suck. That's a good. There you go. They fucking suck. But at least I can say that and still rock the merch because we still support. But I do apologize to all non-Yankee and Dodger fans. This is a really bad World Series because we didn't show up to play. My Yankees did not show up to play baseball. The Yankees are so lost at the plate right now, I honestly believe they could not hit themselves out of a paper bag. If you were to invite the Yankees to one of those parties with the piñatas, you'd be there all week because nobody's hitting the piñata. Nobody's getting any candy if you invite the Yankees to your party. I'll leave it like that. Raw 10/28/24. We begin with Jimmy and Jey Uso face to face. Jimmy wants to act like nothing ever happened, right? He wants a total reunion. Let's just forget everything instantly, right? Snap of a finger, blink of an eye, drop of a hat, nothing ever happened. Let's hug it out. We're bros. Let's move on. Easy for him to say. He kind of was on the shelf while Jey Uso went to be this big single star. So Jey is a lot more hesitant. Jay's like, not so fast, buddy. Back it up a couple 2-3 feet, thank you. He is willing, however, to have a sit down with Roman Reigns. So Jimmy get that together, and he's willing to hear them out. So Jimmy's ready to rush this. Jey is like, not so fast. The bloodline hits the ring, and Jimmy and Jey take out the Gorillas of Destiny and Jacob Fatu. Yes, 3-on-2. But not just any 3-on-2. This is Jacob Fatu with the Gorillas of Destiny. Your former tag title holders, by the way. And Jimmy and Jey just take them all out. This was so goofy to watch. It's the best. It's the only word I can come up with. It's goofy booking. I mean, if you worship Hunter Hearst Helmsley, good for you. This is goofy booking. To take Jacob Fatu, put him with the former tag title holders, and have Jimmy and Jey wreck them, and then send them all into retreat mode. If you're just doing that with Gorillas of Destiny, fine, right? Have Solo, like, back up Jacob Fatu. Like, Fatu wants to get in there and help. Solo's like, no, back up. Solo wants to teach them a lesson for dropping those tag titles and making Solo look like a fool on Friday, because Solo made that matchup. Gorillas dropped the titles. So you think Gorillas would be pissed off at Solo, and you can still do that, but Solo's pissed at them for making him look bad. So Solo lets them kind of fight. They get super kicked several times, and they retreat, and Solo's like, really, dude? And then he's looking at the faces, Jimmy and Jey, and looking at Jacob like, don't make me unleash this beast. That's how you book this, man. It's not that hard. You don't send Jacob Fatu in there to get his ass whooped with the Gorillas, because it's 3-on-2 with a Fatu. And they all look like a bunch of doo-doo. It was bad, man. It was goofy. I literally put in my notes. Goofy. This was so goofy. That's what I put. That's how you... Everybody wants to talk about how Jacob Fatu could be the next big heel, the next big star. Where? How? With this booking? He's going to be no better than Solo at this point. Cena puts him massively over, and then Hunter Hearst Helmsley has Solo right after that loss to John Cena when John Cena got annihilated by Solo. I mean, that was like a golden torch that he passed to Solo, and Hunter Hearst Helmsley just pissed all over it with 41 straight losses to the point where nobody cares about Solo, unfortunately. How is this going to be any different, man? Jacob Fatu getting his ass whooped with the Gorillas. Jimmy and Jey are like, that's it? We don't even need Roman, right? That's what you're telling the fan base. The audience now, anybody over the age of 8 anyway, is like, well, Why do we need Roman? If Jimmy and Jey can clear out the bloodline, why is Roman even needed? I mean, Jimmy and Jey got this on lockdown. But you wait to have something like that, right? The thing here is you just have the Usos just get beat down, man, and wait for Roman to save everybody Friday or a crown jewel going forward to War Games. You guys know, man. You don't need BC to tell you this. This was goofy. To watch Jacob Fatu with his fellow Guerrillas of Destiny bloodline members just get wabaka'd like this. What are we doing? What are we doing, man? Come on. That's how you start the show. And you went back several times backstage, Jimmy and Jey. I think they came across Sami Zayn, who was talking to Solo. Jimmy or Jey, which one was it? You know, telling Sammy that he's not family, oos. So you had some things with Sammy. You plant those seeds, possibly for War Game Survivor Series. All right. I didn't land for BC, man. You know, you should have done this opening segment way better than that. Maybe it's just the way they're booking Jacob Fatu took me away from Jimmy and Jey and their story progression. Maybe that's what it was, but this wasn't it. And then came the real bombshell last night, man, right? Adam Pearce backstage. Dominik Mysterio wants to know who his mystery opponent is, a former world champion. That's how it's been advertised. That's how it was promoted all week, right? Try to pull in viewers, try to sell those last tickets. You got a former world champion returning to Raw. And Adam Pearce told Dominik who it was right after the opening segment, because they knew there was going to be extreme backlash if they waited to the very end. Adam Pearce told Dominik that your former world champion mystery opponent is... How am I already... I'm almost done with the coffee. Can you tell? I mean, and this is my already 5th coffee, man, and it's early in the morning. Look at that, man. I'm taking this shit down. Well, the BC ain't playing. I'm never playing, but yeah, we on it today. So, Adam Pearce tells Dominik Mysterio that the mystery former world champion he'll be facing later is Damien Priest. Damien Priest. Now, we all have... not all. I don't want to speak for everybody, but BC, many of you guys, we have tremendous respect for Damien Priest. He's a really good dude. Not just what you see character-wise. He's a good dude. He's what you call a good apple. We want to see the best for him, right? When he was a world champion, that should not have been. He was not ready for that. Booking was not ready to book him properly. So that was a rough experience. And unfortunately, most of us will not remember Damien Priest's title reign. I saw something where somebody was like, oh, it's okay. This will set up Gunther and Damien Priest, the way they booked Damien last night. They don't even remember that Damien took on Gunther. That already happened. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I mean. Like, we've seen that. There was a whole story, whether it's memorable or not. That's another story. But that's what I mean. Nobody cared. So they picked Damien Priest, who, as much as BC respects this dude, I want the best for this dude, I forgot he was even on the roster. That's how insignificant he has been the last several months. Or what it seems like the last several months. Last month for sure. I mean, that whole Rhea and Damien little thing they had going, wow, did that fall to the wayside so quickly. That got cooled down. That fire was hosed down with the quickness to the point of irrelevancy. When Monday Night Raw goes off the air, I'm not thinking, where was Damien Priest? We're definitely not talking about anything Damien is in. And that's who they picked last night for a former world champion mystery opponent for Dominik Mysterio. Not just a match we've seen many times before. I'm not even talking about the rematch. That's another story. Forget the fact that it's a rematch, a match we've seen so many times. The fact that you used this moment for a bait and switch instead of just doing something that was actually fun, actually captivating, not just creative, but captivating, something worthy to talk about in a positive way the next day. No, Hunter could not be bothered by getting an actual former world champion that fans are going to go, whoa, did you see who it was? No, I'm not saying you bring back the Ultimate Warrior from the Yonder. Much love and respect up there, big dog. Warrior. I'm not saying you roll down Hulk Hogan with him and his walker down the... That'll be like an Undertaker entrance. It'll take 36 minutes. Hulk Hogan waddles his way down, brother. I'm not saying Bret Hart needs to waddle down, doing his little hand shuffle. No. But think of something. I'm not even saying we need to chant Goldberg. But have something worthy of what you promoted. A former world champion mystery opponent all week was advertised, and then they're just like, Damien Priest. PC's like, oh yeah, I forgot Damien's even on the roster, and that's what you promoted. Keep the same energy. If you flatline Tony Khan for using the huge announcement all the time when he has a Papa rating, I hope you keep the same energy every time Hunter does a bait and switch, because Vince did it a lot as well. So if you're keeping score, keep it. Because Hunter Hearst Helmsley is going to do this many times going forward as well. Just deliver, man. I don't care if Hunter's music played and he went out there and gave a quick pedigree. I understand he has the gimmick in his chest. But go out there, deliver a pedigree, and then all of a sudden Damien comes out and you propel whatever you need to do business-wise, storyline-wise. You get much further than the match that Dominik and Damien had. If you just had Hunter deliver a pedigree, everybody's popping, and all of a sudden Damien comes out to pick up the scraps, but Liv in the Judgment Day, they find a way to get one over on Damien. There's so many ways you could have done it. Now, yes, I would have ripped that too, initially, because Hunter has to be involved in everything, right? I always say there should be a third seat at Gorilla. And that third seat should be for Hunter's ego. He's got to be involved in everything. You saw that again Friday. Although I did think that was actually, that's the only thing you could have done if you're going to catapult a Randy Orton KO match out of nowhere. With 2 weeks notice, you kind of have to add an authority figure. But I was not shocked that Hunter was involved in that storyline. But at this point, yeah, I'd rip it initially, but then I'd be like, but what a pop, though. And at least it was fun, and it was a good way to get to Damien and Dominik again, or whatever they have. Unfinished business, I guess. I don't know what's left with Damien, Rhea, and Judgment Day. BC Rhea still has to get the title, and Damien is still pissed. Well, then make it fun, at least. Otherwise, I don't care about Damien and Rhea in the Judgment Day anymore. It is cooled off beyond belief. And I know I'm not alone on that, man. If anybody tries to sell you that they're just as excited as they were 2 months ago with this storyline, most would absolutely be BSing themselves, not just you. And if you're cooling off as time goes on, then the storyline is done. You're supposed to be getting hotter with the story. That was it. Adam Pearce tells Dominik Mysterio it's Damien Priest, and I was literally like, they did not just bait and switch us. There's got to be something more. There's going to be a big former world champion that actually appears later. You know, BC still held out hope that Hunter tried to get somebody in to make this a fun segment and to live up to the expectations that the promotion originally had everybody having. But no, when it was all said and done, they literally just paraded current roster member Damien Priest. And they paraded him out there and they promoted him as a former world champion mystery opponent. We'll go over that match. What a botch. For the finish, what a botch post-match from Hunter Hearst Helmsley. We'll talk all about it. That's coming up. First, we'll go to the first matchup of the night, Sheamus and Ludwig. Sheamus beats Ludwig Keiser via bro kick pinfall. It was physical. You know, everybody's talking about, oh, what a match. It was Ludwig and Sheamus. I've already seen them several times. They're always physical. It's pretty decent for the entertainment you're getting at the time. It provides nothing newsworthy afterwards. It doesn't provide anything going into a big storyline that anybody cares about. But for the moment, you get some good physical action, and that's what you got again. So that's the positive. The negative is that's it. That's all you got. Literally, guys, it does nothing for either one of these individuals. And you know that just by what you viewed last night, right? Bro kick, that's it. Move on. Right? BC's not trying to sell you on a bag of goods. I'm telling you what exactly happened and what it leads to. This isn't one of those scenarios where let it play out, BC. There's nothing to play out. We're just watching the same match over and over like we always do. This one involves Sheamus and Ludwig. And that's it. Pinfall. And go to the back for an interview with somebody totally different. That's what I mean, man. When I review these shows, it's just about factually what happened and what it leads to. Ivy Nile and Zelina Vega. Ivy Nile defeats Zelina Vega via pinfall off a swinging Uranagi. That honestly looked like Zelina DDT'd Ivy. It looked like Zelina hit a badass DDT on Ivy, but Zelina was knocked out, and Ivy had the pin. And then the commentators really sold her new move, the swinging Uranagi. That was the swinging stupidity, because it looked like Zelina DDT'd Ivy. They have to go back to the drawing board, and they never showed a replay. So I think WWE knows that was botched. Or if that's how it's supposed to look, it looks like Ivy's getting DDT'd. It looked bad to be. I didn't see a second. I was hoping to get the replay. Maybe I was just seeing things, right? Maybe I just mistakened it. It was actually performed well. Maybe. They never showed the replay, but they really sold the swinging Uranagi. I don't know. It looked like Zelina DDT'd her, man. But Ivy picks up a big W over Zelina. And yes, I say big W. I'm high on Zelina. You guys know that. If I have the creative pen, Zelina Vega is having a lot more in this company than what Hunter is giving her. And it's sad that Zelina doesn't get more. She's actually a damn good wrestler, man. She gets no love. She gets no respect. Everybody just likes to bash her. But Zelina is such a good talent, man. 4'11" of absolute heaven. And I'm really high on Ivy as well, so I'm not going to bash the victory for Ivy. I would have just had Ivy in there with a local indie talent, right? Handjob Holly. Take the L for Ivy, have Ivy annihilate her for 3 to 5 minutes, and let your whole audience see that Ivy is a legit superstar. I think that's more beneficial than just beating another superstar. Then Ivy loses next week, you 50-50 book your wrestlers, and nobody cares about them because they're not actually winners when you 50-50 book them. Right? They lose just as much, and subconsciously your audience is taking inventory of such. And by the way, the LWO and American Made brawled at ringside. This is what Hunter does. This is his go-to, right? If everybody just brawls, right, then it's action. And everybody's going to go, that was amazing. Did you see the brawl? So everybody just brawls all the time. Brawl, 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 brawl. Brawls absolutely should be happening in pro wrestling. And often, okay, not too often. That's the key. Not too often, right? You have to keep the brawl special. Pull them apart brawls. They happen 2 to 3 times a show now under Hunter Hearst Helmsley. The pull apart brawl should be special. Another brawl here. This one was LWO and American Made. If that gets you guys excited, man. Oh my, did you guys see what happened last night? LWO and American Made brawled. Yep. Dude, this is going to lead to a match. I can see it, guys. This is going to be like LWO members versus like Creed brothers. And I bet you in a couple weeks, we might even see Chad Gable get involved and another LWO member. It's going to be a 6-man tag. Dude, Hunter's cooking. Did you see Hunter's cooking? Oh, man, it's like a feast. Meanwhile, BC's like, do you guys smell burning? Who let Hunter in the kitchen again? Oh, man. That was it. That was hour number 1. I may have missed a thing or two, like a backstage segment or something like that, guys. All apologies again. I caught this on a huge multi-hour delay, catching my Yankees live. Lose again, because that's what they do in the World Series. Choke artists. But so some things may have been missed, but that was basically your hour 1. Jimmy and Jey face to face. Adam Pearce telling Dominik who his mystery former world champion opponent is, and then Ivy defeating Zelina Vega. Hour number 2, Sethington Rollins starts this segment. Sethington Rollins calls out Bronson Reed, wants Sethington. Bronson is on the Tron. He's in the parking lot. He wants Sethington to come fight him in the parking lot. So Rollins obliges, and a parking lot brawl is underway. Rollins stomps Bronson on the hood of a car. Bronson launches himself and Rollins out of an 18-wheeler onto an air mattress down below, covered in a bunch of stuff, but it's basically one of those big air cushions. You can see it kind of deflate over time, but I'm totally fine with it. It shows that they put in care and effort into a segment, right? And you want everybody to be safe, obviously, so that's what I mean about the time and the resource and the effort that goes into these segments. You have to rehearse this. Everybody has to know their marks. It takes a lot to do a segment like that, and that's why you don't see it often. Or over the years you haven't, because WWE got lazy. They rested on their laurels. They cashed in. Okay, it's their company. It's their right to do such. But it made it really boring for the fans for the past 10 years plus. But you're starting to see them invest in these type of segments, so I will absolutely give props to Hunter. The problem is he'll take the concept and he'll run it dry, right? Like a sponge, and he'll just keep squeezing till every last drop is out of it instead of preserving it. So every single week we're getting the same type of Bronson Reed parking lot bash 'em, smash 'em segment. But because the shows are so bad, BC's like, screw it, let's go. Wreck-It Ralph. That's what it is to BC. It's Wreck-It Ralph, man. If you see Bronson, you just put him in the parking lot and have him wreck shit. I'm down. I mean, unless the shows are going to get better, I'm okay with this because at least it's something, right? Like you have to catch it, right? Because, like there's going to be some type of stunt gimmick happening, right? Somebody's going to jump off of the trailer into 10 cars, right? A monster truck is going to run them over. Right? BC is still stuck on the monster truck. They're in a parking lot, right? It gives that anything can happen vibe. So, yeah, man. It was a cool spot. They basically just took out Strowman. They substituted him with Rollins. I said that last week. I say it again this week. Of course, Braun Strowman was injured that last match he had with Bronson, but I think they reached the end anyway. Wasn't that the climax? I mean, how much more could you do with Braun Strowman and Bronson? They've already done every Wreck-It Ralph situation you can. So now you take Braun Strowman out, you substitute him with Rollins, and you just act like Rollins is Strowman. And they're still just Wreck-It Ralphing everything around them. So that's all they did. They substituted Strowman with Rollins and continued the Wreck-It Ralph booking, is how I put it in my notes. And I'm here for it because it's the only thing happening on Monday Night Raw. The lackluster tag division was next. War Raiders defeat New Day and LWO to become number one contenders for the tag titles. Don't worry, New Day, and don't worry, LWO. We'll do this again and again and again and again and again. Every single time we have to crown new number one contenders, everybody will always get a chance. Multi-tag team turmoil, multi-tag team battle royal, multi-tag team tournament, a bunch of triple threat tag matches or fatal four tag matchups, but you'll always, every single month, every team will get a chance to get a title match. So when you do that, it doesn't make it special, right? If you lose one of these number one contender matches, you get to literally not care at all. Go to Cater and get the last triple layered moose cake and put a smile on your face, because in a few weeks, you'll get another opportunity and another opportunity. Being a number one contender is nothing special. It's not a prestigious title to have. Everybody is going to get a chance at that every single month. That's the problem with these. Over on the Blue brand, they're doing the same exact thing. They just did it. War Raiders, man. Vikings. I don't know the difference. The name changed. I guess that's something. Backstage, Karrion Kross. Man, I love this. This was the performance of the night. And it was just about 90 seconds in length. And it had to do with a dude that's basically been booked in obscurity. Karrion Kross. So Karrion Kross backstage, he's Miz is in front of him. He's got Final Testament by his side. Scarlett Bordeaux looking absolutely bordacious. Bordacious. Is that long night? Scarlett Bordeaux just looking amazing. And Karrion Kross is telling Miz, I'll give you a quote. He tells Miz, find Bo Dallas, and if he don't, he's going to break his legs. His delivery, guys. And then he says, good talk. Ready, break. As if they're like still. So the change in personality pitch was incredible. He just changed up his personality to it was so good. Like he's being nice. And then Miz is like, listen, I want nothing to do with this. Why do I got to find Bo Dallas? And he goes, listen. And he just raises his voice. His voice totally turns into a whole nother situation in front of Miz. And then he tells him, you're going to find Bo Dallas or I'm going to break your legs. And he's like, good talk. Ready, break. It was great, guys. I just... Karrion Kross, I told you guys this, so I'm not saying in the ring he's the best technician or the best aerial assaultist. I don't even care about that. The presentation alone, he's checking off boxes that most wrestlers that can do all the flips and dives and can do all of the 60-man Iron Man matchups, they do not check off. Karrion Kross is that dude. You just got to properly book him, man. At this point, just give him any care. And he'll take the rest of it himself. He'll do the rest. I put in my notes to end this whole segment, there's got to be more for him in Scarlett. There has to be. He's too good. And at this point, much of the audience has already lost that... definitely not respect. What's the word I want, man? They've lost the belief in him, right? They lost all belief in Karrion Kross. And so even when he starts to be booked good, it's going to take a long time for the audience to come around. So that's what I mean about booking people into a hole. You know, when you book them bad for so long, and there's many fans that are like, don't worry, man, he'll get his proper booking soon. You know, it takes time, and it's patience. There's people before him. But what you're doing is you're booking them so badly for so long that you forget it's going to take just as long for people to care about them when Hunter finally says, okay, it's your turn. You're seeing it with Bronson Reed. They're giving Bronson the moon booking-wise. He's in all the Wreck-It Ralph segments, man. He's got the fun stuff on every Raw. But fans still really don't care. Why, you're thinking, right? It's been months of this type of booking for Bronson because Bronson was booked so badly for so long. I've been trying to tell you this, man. I don't just say words to listen to myself. I say them because I know what I am talking about. Because every single time I'm giving you factual information based on, honestly, most of it, history just resurfacing. History repeating itself. Karrion Kross, Scarlett Bordeaux. I love that, man. Easily, this was the best promo of his career thus far for Karrion Kross. That's it. That was several minutes of praise on a 90-second segment. There's your positivity. Damien Priest, Dominik Mysterio main event. Mysterio pins Priest via fruity roll-up. How do you like that? Yes. So not only did they promote this former world champion mystery opponent, then they had the balls to say it's Damien Priest, but then they end the match with a roll-up. Damien is rolled up by Dominik, and that's how they thought Monday Night Raw would be a good finish. And you want to know the irony of it? Oh, and by the way, another massive botch right after the match from Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Check this out. I'm trying to preserve the coffee, man. I have like one sip left, so I'm trying to make it like 5 smaller sips. We're almost at the end of this review. I could double fist some more coffee, a double shot Dunkin', and probably a hazelnut 2-pump latte. That sounds pretty good after this review. But before I get to the Hunter botch, the irony of all of this is that, oh, no, let me switch it up. I'll tell you the ironic part after the Hunter botch. So after the roll-up, which is an absolute booking botch, so it was a promotional botch with the bait and switch. It was a booking botch by having Damien just lose via roll-up to end your show. And then it was a production botch, Hunter and a production, for having 4 minutes left on the show. And they had nothing to fill it with. They ended with 4 minutes left. Damien had already taken out the Judgment Day, or Dominik and Carlito, after the match. And they had so much time left. You could see for 2 minutes the ref and Damien are just yelling at one another. All right, the ref is trying to make it look like he's backing off Damien. Damien's not even doing anything. The ref is literally getting word from Hunter as to how to stall time. Or not stall time, like fill time. Because there was so much left. So you see the ref like yelling, and Damien's like, what? Say it again, what? You could see Damien like, what are you saying? What do I do? What do I do? And the ref is trying to get word from Hunter. And at one point, he's just like, the ref is like, oh, screw it. You never see that, right? It's because the ref had to run outside and tell Carlito to get back in the ring to eat another choke slam or something. So you'll actually see the ref go, screw this. And he leaves the ring like he quit. And then you'll see Carlito a few seconds later get back in the ring just to eat another move from Damien. It's because the ref had to go tell him what Hunter was telling him. Just have Carlito go in and then after that, he had to pick up Carlito or Dominik and deliver another chokeslam. So he just like beat him up some more. The referee's yelling at him to fill more. Then he tells the heels to kind of sit in the aisleway for the actual finish. And then Damien gets up on the turnbuckle and looks down as he talks crap to the heels that are smiling because they got one over on him and they helped Dominik roll him up. And then we fade to black and end the show. But if you caught the last several minutes of that show, if it looked so damn awkward, like there's got to be more. Like this is dragging on. Is somebody coming out? Nope. They had 4 minutes left and there was nothing planned. It was just Damien beats him up post-match. They were probably so scared from what happened on Tuesday, Zarya's debut, and most of the audience did not see it. CW had a hard cut at 10 o'clock, 9:58 for most, to go to the news. It's not like USA, they'll give you that overrun. So a lot of people did not see Zarya's debut, Delta, on NXT television. So maybe Hunter was like, that's not happening now. And it was so bad, man. It was so bad. The fact that we're getting Damien Priest and Dominik Mysterio in your main event at the end of October 2024 against all this competition in the sporting world, and that's the best foot forward for Hunter? BS. Major BS. And the timing botch, you can't do that, man. And then you just ended the show, and it was like, whoa, that was... How do you sell it? That's a good finish? That's the ironic part of it all. Just this weekend, I was talking about the SmackDown review being such a hot finish. Like, no matter if you're into the Motor City title victory or not, that's your prerogative. I feel mixed about it. I'm allowing it to actually play out. I want to see what they have planned, if anything. But Motor City wins the tag titles. Then you go into this Jimmy J reunion with Roman staring on from the top of the aisleway. Yes, a cousin that kind of caused all of this, but also looking as if he's like a proud father watching this reunion, knowing that he's got to get the wise man Paul Heyman and fix this War Games Survivor Series. Like it was a good finish. One of the best finishes I've seen in a long time. And they follow it up with one of the worst finishes I've seen in a long time. A few days later on Monday Night Raw, because that's what this was. One of the worst finishes I've seen in a very long time. A botch from top to bottom, from the promotion to the execution. And everything in between creatively. This was a massive botch. And I hope they do not do this bait and switch often under Hunter Hearst Helmsley's era. This show absolutely sucked. A couple of good things we can pull out, but in totality, do better. And I'll tell my Yankees the same thing. Do better. With my Yankees, unfortunately, I don't think they're capable of doing such. WWE they have the talent. My Yankees do too. What am I saying? They just don't, collectively. No, what the heck? I don't know what's up with maybe Hunter's booking the Yankees. Who knows, man? Anyway, I'm out. I got to get more coffee. That's what you got, man. That's what I got for you. That's what you got. Raw 10/28/24. Until next time, there will be that next time. Top guys, we are out. BC in the unit, and we're saying check you. Deuces.